Savitri has survived this terrible eternal night, and death has offered her a boon. He says, go back, but I can give you gifts to soothe your wounded life. But Savitri says, I'm not accepting your claim to be able to give gifts. No? What I'm asking, what I'm demanding, is whatever Shraddhavan, my husband, desired and had not for his beautiful life. And then she says, give if thou must, and if thou canst, refuse. She's really making the point that I'm not asking anything from you. You give to me what you owe, what I should have. And he had said, ask for a life's hopes. So she asks for the hopes that Shraddhavan had in his life. And that was that his father should recover his sight and regain his kingdom. So that's what death says, that he would have been better off staying here in the forest and being blind, but anyway, I'm giving him all the comforts and honor of old age as the king of the realm, and I'm restoring his sight. Being blind is an opportunity to receive another kind of sight, but since what he wants is the sensuous solace of the light, that's what I'm giving. Because that is what Shraddhavan desired and asked in vain while still he lived on earth and cherished hope. That's what death says. And he says, now you go back from the grandeur of my perilous realms. Go, mortal, to thy small, permitted sphere. Hasten swift-footed, lest to slay thy life the great laws thou hast violated, moved, open at last on thee their marble eyes. But Savitri answered the disdainful shade. World spirit, I was thy equal spirit born. My will too is a law, my strength a god. I am immortal in my mortality. I tremble not before the immobile gaze of the unchanging marble hierarchies that look with the stone eyes of law and fate. My soul can meet them with its living fire. Out of thy shadow, give me back again into earth's flowering spaces, Shraddhavan, in the sweet transiency of human limbs, to do with him my spirit's burning will. I will bear with him the ancient mother's load. I will follow with him earth's path that leads to God. Else shall the eternal spaces open to me, while round us strange horizons far recede, traveling together the immense unknown. For I, who have trod with him the tracts of time, can meet behind his steps whatever night or unimaginable, stupendous dawn breaks on our spirits in the untrod beyond. Wherever thou leadst his soul, I shall pursue. But to her claim opposed, implacable, insisting on the immutable decree, insisting on the immitigable law and the insignificance of created things, out of the rolling wastes of night there came, born from the enigma of the unknowable depths, a voice of majesty and appalling scorn. As when the storm-haired, Titan-striding sea throws on a swimmer its tremendous laugh, remembering all the joy its waves have drowned. So, from the darkness of the sovereign night, against the woman's boundless heart, arose the almighty cry of universal death. Which way are we reading? This way? You will begin me on 270.
Back from the grandeur of my palace realms, go, mortal, to thy small permitted sphere. Hasten swift-footed, lest to slay thy life the great laws thou hast violated. Moved, open at last on thee their marble eyes.
Yes. So back to earth, away from this wonderful grandeur of my perilous realms, my dangerous kingdoms that are so vast and so dark. Go back, you who are mortal, you who are subject to death. Go back to thy small, permitted sphere, that little earth that you are allowed to live on. And then he says, go quickly, hasten, swift-footed, hurry with swift feet, because at lest means so that something shall not happen. Otherwise, to slay your life, the great laws thou hast violated, open at last on thee their marble eyes. It's as if those great laws have not noticed. Their eyes are closed. They haven't noticed that Savitri has broken all the rules by entering this realm of death, where human beings, physical beings, cannot enter. No? She's broken the rules, she's violated the laws, and those laws will be angry if they open their marble eyes, their cold stone eyes, and see what she has done. Then it'll be terrible. He's trying to terrify her. Bhavana.
But Savitri answered the disdainful she, World spirit, I was thy equal spirit born. My will too is a law, my strength a god. I am immortal in my mortality.
Yes. So this is a great truth that Savitri is speaking. And we may think that she is able to say this because she is an emanation of the Supreme Mother. But in the Life Divine, Sri Aurobindo tells us that all of us can say this. No? That every one of us is equal to those gods. You are a world spirit, she says, but I too am thy equal spirit born. My will too is a law. Even our human will, our ordinary, ignorant human will is a law. But if we speak really the soul's law, it is even much more powerful. And we have within us a divine strength. It's only that we have forgotten it. We are not aware of it. And so we feel weak and powerless. All of us are immortal in our mortality. We have mortal bodies, physical bodies, but within them each of us has a soul, an immortal soul. That is the equal of even the whole universe. There's a chapter near the beginning of the Life Divine where Sri Aurobindo says that we shouldn't be deluded by the illusion of size, and that the spirit, wherever it is all powerful. Tom.
I tremble not before the immobile gaze of the unchanging marble hierarchies that look with the stone eyes of law and faith. My soul can meet them with its living fire.
Thank you. So she says, you are trying to make me tremble, you're trying to make me shake with fear, but I'm not in the least bit afraid of these laws that you are talking about. The immobile, the fixed gaze of these unchanging marble hierarchies, as if they are made out of stone, these laws in their ranked powers. Yama, the god of death, is also the god of law, of justice, who keeps everything in its place in the universe. But Savitri is saying, beyond the law, there's a greater power. So we may feel faced with all the laws of nature, the laws of the universe, even the higher law. But these unchanging laws are not the ultimate laws. Yes, my soul can meet those laws with its living fire, and that living fire of the soul is stronger than the marble gaze of these fixed powers.
But here the word hierarchy is used. That means there is a stage.
Yes, there are ranks of gods, of powers, and they, on each level, each of them is supreme. But there are always higher levels And if the soul is in contact with with its transcendent truth, then it's beyond all these cosmic laws.
It's a living fire, the soul's a
Living fire, yes.
And aspiration or purity?
Oh, it's everything. Yes, all those things together. The life even of the soul. So again she demands, Martin.
Out of thy shadow, give me back again into earth's flowering spaces, Shraddhavan, in the sweet transiency of human limbs, to do with him my spirit's burning will.
So out of this darkness, this shadow, she's demanding Shraddhavan to be given back to her in the sweet transiency of human limbs. This fact that the human limbs don't last forever, that they grow old and wither. You know, she says, sweet transiency. I want to have him back in a human form, and in that form I will do whatever I like, whatever my spirit's burning will wishes. Gumsun?
I will bear with him the ancient mother's word. I will follow with him Earth's path that leads to God.
Read the next sentence.
As shall the eternal spaces open to me, while wonders strange horizons far recede, towering together the immense unknown.
Yes. So give me back Shraddhavan. With him I will bear the ancient mother's load, this burden of earth, of matter. The ancient mother, this is our earth, Mother Earth, the material principle. And I will follow with him earth's path, because that path leads to God. This is another special truth, that it is here on earth that the souls have chosen to live. And here there's that possibility of the soul contact with the highest, with the Supreme Being. And this evolutionary path that we follow here on earth will lead us surely to God. Otherwise, if you don't give him back to me, then I'm going to go on accompanying you while the eternal spaces open up to me and the far horizons stretch, whatever vast spaces you take us into. Shraddhavan and I will travel together the immense unknown. We will continue together. Sarojini.
For I who have trod within the track of time, can meet behind his death whatever light or
Unimaginable.
unimaginable stupendous down, break on our spirit in the under beyond. Whatever thought led his soul, I shall pursue.
Yes. So she says, I have walked with him through the territories, the lands of time. And now I'm ready to follow behind him through whatever night or whatever dawn, whatever wonderful dawn, will open up to his spirit and my spirit in this beyond, which has never been trod before, or where we have never trod before. And it's this lovely idea, traditional Indian idea, that the wife can safely follow her husband wherever he goes. You know? That's her place and her duty to walk behind. So she says, I can follow Satyavan's steps wherever he goes. Joel must be next.
But to her claim opposed, implacable, insisting on the immutable decree, insisting on the immutable law, and the insignificance of created things, out of the rolling wastes of night there came, born from the enigma of the unknowable depths, a voice of majesty and appalling scorn.
So death is not accepting her claim of immortality and the possibility of following Satyavan. Her claim, opposed to her claim, implacable. Nothing is going to soften him. He's insisting on the decree, the law, that cannot be changed. That whatever is mortal must die, whatever is born must die. He's insisting on the immitigable law. Some laws can be mitigated. They can be, exceptions can be made, or
Amended.
no, it's not the same as amended. It means made less strong or less absolute, less severe also. But he's insisting on the immitigable law. This law is not going to be softened or lessened in any way. And he's insisting on the insignificance of created things. Whatever is made in this universe is insignificant. It's even illusory. It doesn't really exist. It doesn't have any value compared with those immitigable laws. So all this is in this voice of death that comes out of the rolling wastes of night. When we use this word wastes, we are thinking about a desert with dunes, rolling wastes of night. But we can also think of the ocean like that it's a salt waste. Nothing can grow there. No? It's like a desert. So then there's the idea of waves. But the waves of the sea and the dunes of the desert, they are similar. They are rolling out, and these are rolling wastes of night, of darkness, up from the enigma, the mystery of the unknowable depths. Here, these deeper levels, these mysteries are unknowable. It's not just that they are unknown, they are unknowable. Out of all that comes this voice of majesty. It's the voice of a great, powerful ruler. And this great, powerful ruler has no opinion at all about created things. They are worthless. We had this word scorn last week. Yes. Did you find the Tamil equivalent for this word? You speak to somebody as if they are a worm. Scorn. So there's something like that in his voice. He implies that Savitri is worthless because she's a human being. Marie, you'll read the next sentence.
As when the storm tightens striding sea, throws on the swimmer its tremendous love, remembering all the joy its waves have drawn. So from the darkness of the sovereign night, against the woman's boundless heart rose the almighty cry of universal death.
Yes. So it's like when the ocean drowns someone and seems to be laughing at that poor swimmer trying to get to safety. It's tremendous laugh. It is laughing. It's such fun for that titan striding sea, that ocean, to drown somebody, remembering all the other people that he has drowned, all the joy that he has drowned. This image of ocean with hair of storm and titan striding, walking with enormous steps. And the ocean is like that. It takes such huge strides. So that voice of death is like that. It rises up against the darkness of this sovereign night, this night which is ruling, which can't be overthrown, rising up against Savitri's heart, her boundless heart that is so full of courage and love and intensity. Against all that conviction and faith and knowledge which she has comes this denial, the voice, the almighty cry of universal death. It's all powerful. And what he says is very scornful. Mila, will you read?
Hast thou good wings?
God wings.
Or feet that tread my stars? Brave creature, with the courage that aspires, forgetting thy bones of thought, thy mortal role. Their orbs were coiled before thy soul was formed.
Yes. So this is his scorn. He says, you're asking me to give you Shraddhavan back, and you're saying that if I don't, then you are just going to follow me. How are you going to follow me? Have you got wings like an angel or a god? Have you got feet that can walk on my stars? No? You are just a frail creature, easily breakable. You've got some aspiration, you've got some courage, but that's misleading you completely. You are forgetting the limitations, the bounds of thought, and you are forgetting your mortal role. You are playing this role of a human being subject to death. Their orbs, an orb is a sphere, he's referring to his stars, my stars. Their orbs were coiled before thy soul was born. He says. What he means is that you've just come into existence a second or two ago. No? And my stars, they've been here not only longer than your life, but longer than your soul. You're claiming immortality, but this realm of mine, this universe of mine, is far older than your soul. And he's going to continue with that. Uday.
I, death, created them out of my void. All things I have felt in them and destroyed. I made the walls my net, each door a mesh, a hungry amounts of exulting prey. Like that divorce I image sleeping things.
Yes. So he's saying, I, death, am the creator. I have created the stars out of my nothingness. I have built everything that's here in your universe. I've built everything and I can destroy everything. I do destroy everything. And he's saying also that I have made the worlds my net, like a hunter uses a net to catch things. You know? Each joy, each little joy that you have is a mesh. One of the a net is made of meshes. Yeah. So there's little holes, and then there's strings. So you get caught in the meshes of the net. So especially you get caught by your joys. He says, I'm a hunger. I eat everything up. And I enjoy eating everything up. I'm in love with my prey. My suffering prey. I enjoy the sufferings and the resistance that you offer to death. I'm life that devours everything, that eats up everything. Look wherever you will in the material universe and in life. It's all my image. I'm the one who's eating everything up, creating things and then destroying them, enjoying destroying them.
But God is the creator.
Well, that's what we think. Death thinks that he is the creator. Amorous means in love with.
In a certain way it's true also.
In a certain way it's true. At the very end.
Create directly, he goes into inconscience and from there it rises.
Yes. And in the end, of course, at the beginning of Book 11, after death has been destroyed and devoured, Savitri meets the fourfold Godhead. He's so adorable, so beautiful. But she recognizes, oh, this is who was opposing me. All along, he put on this mask of death. So that's very, very interesting. So this is how he's presenting himself to her now. We can say that what is happening through all this third part of the poem is that the realizations of Savitri's yoga are getting tested. She had those great realizations, those wonderful experiences. Now she's being tested. How far can you put that into practice if you really want Shraddhavan back? So that is why actually all these later cantos are so interesting. Alice.
Mortal, whose spirit is my wandering breath, whose transience was imagined by my smile, flee, clutching thy poor days to thy trembling breast, pierced by my pangs, time shall not soon appease.
Yes. You are mortal, again he's saying it. You are subject to death. And what little bit of life you have, whose spirit, it's just my wandering breath. Sometimes I breathe into this one and then into that one. You are transient. Your existence will not last long. And the fact that you exist at all, it's just a joke for me. It was imagined by my smile. Oh, that'll be fun. Now he says, run away, flee, clutching thy poor gains to thy trembling breast. What I've given you, I'm not going to take away. Off you go. Take with you what you have won. You will feel the pain, my pain, the pain that I cause you, and it will last a long time. Time shall not soon appease. When you appease a god, you make him kind and gentle to you, But time will not be kind to you in that way. Howard, would you read, please?
Blind slave of my death force, whom I compel to sin, that I may punish, to desire, that I may scourge thee with despair and grief, and thou come bleeding to me at the last, thy nothingness recognized, my greatness known, turn nor attempt forbidden happy fields, meant for the souls that can obey my law, lest in their somber shrines thy tread awake. From their uneasy, iron-hearted sleep, the furies who avenge fulfilled desire.
So let's look at this interesting sentence. He says, you are a blind slave of my force. I cause you to do everything that you do. I compel you to sin, to do wrong things, so that I can punish you. I compel you to desire things, so that you may make the attempt, and I will beat you. I will cause you a lot of pain with despair and grief, so that in the end, when you come to me bleeding, you will know that you are nothing and only I am great. So now you turn around and go back. Turn. And do not try to enter these happy fields, the heavens, the forbidden happy fields that are meant for the souls that can obey my law. You are breaking the law. Lest in their somber shrines thy tread awake the furies. The furies with a capital F like this, these are creatures in Greek mythology who are avenging spirits. If anything is done to contradict, to violate the divine law, the furies will pursue you and punish you, eat you up. They are like terrible birds, like vultures. So don't wake them up. These furies that he's speaking about are the ones who avenge, who punish, who take their revenge for fulfilled desire. If you get what you want, these furies will come and punish you. They are sleeping in their somber shrines. But if you try to enter these happy fields, they will wake them up from their uneasy, iron-hearted sleep, pitiless sleep. Those furies who avenge fulfilled desire. You'll read, Jana? You try, yes?
Great blessed the skies where passion hoped to live, the unknowns lightning, star and terrified, moon sorting hunted by the hounds of heaven, a wounded and forsaken soul, thou flee through the long torture of the centuries. No many lives exhaust the tireless brush.
Wrath. This word is wrath, anger. Yeah.
Hell cannot slay, nor heaven's mercy
Assuage. Yes. Thank you. So, look out, dread lest, it means be afraid that in these heavens where you hoped to live your human passion, instead there's a storm of thunderbolts from the unknown, from the great God above. And then what will happen? You will be terrified, you will be all alone, weeping, you will be hunted by the hounds of heaven, the hunting dogs. You will become a wounded and forsaken soul, a lost soul. And you will be running away, you will be fleeing through the long torture of the centuries. And you will have to live many lives again and again to exhaust, to use up all that tireless wrath, that anger, which even hell cannot slake. Slake is like quench. If you're very, very thirsty, you want to drink a lot of water, you think water will quench or slake your thirst. But even suffering in hell will not slake, it will not lessen that tireless wrath, that anger, and nor will the mercy of heaven be able to assuage it, to make it less. So he's really threatening her with hell and endless suffering. Dana Lakshmi, you just read the last few lines.
I will take from thee the black eternal grip, clasping in thy heart thy fate's exiguous door. Depart in peace, if peace for man is just.
Yes. I will take away from you this black eternal grip of this night, and you go back, clasping in thy heart. And again, this is words of scorn. Thy fate's exiguous dole. A dole is a small payment that's made to you in charity. Unemployed people go and queue up every week to get their dole, the little bit of money that they are given to live on. And that dole may be exiguous. Exiguous means very, very little, not enough. So that stingy dole which your fate deserves, no, that's all you're allowed. So clasp in your heart that little bit which you've been given, and off you go in peace, if peace for man is just. Full of scorn. But she will answer him with equal scorn. We will read that next week.
This means you go away with the small payments you are getting.
Yes.
You're satisfied with that, you go back.
Yes. Well, he says you don't have to be satisfied, but that's all you're getting. So shall we read some of this? Back from the grandeur of my perilous realms, go, mortal, to thy small permitted sphere. Hasten, swift-footed, lest to slay thy life the great laws thou hast violated, moved, open at last on thee their marble eyes. But Savitri answered the disdainful shade, World spirit, I was thy equal spirit born. My will too is a law, my strength a god. I am immortal in my mortality. I tremble not before the immobile gaze of the unchanging marble hierarchies that look with the stone eyes of law and fate. My soul can meet them with its living fire. Out of thy shadow give me back again into earth's flowering spaces, Shraddhavan, in the sweet transiency of human limbs, to do with him my spirit's burning will. I will bear with him the ancient mother's load. I will follow with him earth's path that leads to God. Else shall the eternal spaces open to me, while round us strange horizons far recede, travelling together the immense unknown. For I who have trod with him the tracts of time can meet behind his steps whatever night or unimaginable stupendous dawn breaks on our spirits in the untrod beyond. Wherever thou leadst his soul, I shall pursue. But to her claim opposed, implacable, insisting on the immutable decree, insisting on the immitigable law and the insignificance of created things. Out of the rolling wastes of night there came, born from the enigma of the unknowable depths, a voice of majesty and appalling scorn. As when the storm-haired, Titan-striding sea throws on a swimmer its tremendous laugh, remembering all the joy its waves have drowned. So from the darkness of the sovereign night, against the woman's boundless heart arose the almighty cry of universal death. Hast thou, God, wings, or feet that tread my stars? Frail creature with the courage that aspires, forgetting thy bounds of thought, thy mortal role. Their orbs were coiled before thy soul was formed. I, Death, created them out of my void. All things I have built in them, and I destroy. I made the words my net, each joy a mesh, a hunger amorous of its suffering prey, life that devours. My image see in things. Mortal, whose spirit is my wandering breath, whose transience was imagined by my smile, flee, clutching thy poor gains to thy trembling breast, pierced by my pangs, time shall not soon appease. Blind slave of my death force, whom I compel to sin that I may punish, to desire that I may scourge thee with despair and grief, and thou come bleeding to me at the last, thy nothingness recognized, my greatness known. Turn, nor attempt forbidden happy fields meant for the souls that can obey my law, lest in their sombre shrines thy tread awake from their uneasy, iron-hearted sleep the furies who avenge fulfilled desire. Dread lest in skies where passion hoped to live, the unknown's lightning start, and terrified, lone, sobbing, hunted by the hounds of heaven, a wounded and forsaken soul, thou flee through the long torture of the centuries, nor many lives exhaust the tireless wrath hell cannot slake, nor heaven's mercy assuage. I will take from thee the black eternal grip, clasping in thy heart thy fate's exiguous dole. Depart in peace, if peace for man is just.